sorry nobody told you about this sooner, but there are opportunities literally sitting right under your nose that you pass up every single day without giving a second thought that hold nearly zero risk and almost unlimited upside potential. Now, unfortunately, I'm not talking about the next hot business idea or an investment opportunity that can make you millions of dollars, but I think you might have a feeling of what I'm hinting at already. A couple of summers ago, I had an internship at JP Morgan Advisors in New York City, basically living out any finance major from a non-target school's dream. You know, going into work in Midtown Manhattan every day, sitting in the fancy office. The whole floor that I sat on was a whole bunch of different financial advising groups. Each team had their own little office within the floor, you know, on the perimeter of the building. You know, they had the view of the city outside their window, but the inside of the floor, outside of the offices, were just cubicles. And that's where I sat voluntarily 5 weeks of my 9-week internship. The team that I worked for was a group of 6 guys, and the financial advisors were highly successful, and it was summertime. More often than not, at least 1 or 2 people were out of the office. So there was always an open desk in that office that I could have sat at no matter what day of the week. You know, I probably could have just rotated desks, and the advisors made it pretty clear that, you know, if I ever needed something to pop in and, you know, I could even sit down at one of their desks if somebody's out. I appreciated the invitation and came up with 1,000,001 excuses not to leverage that opportunity every single day. When the halfway mark rolled around for the internship and I knew, you know, I only had a couple weeks left, I walked into the office and asked for feedback, as I'm always looking for areas to improve, wanted to know what I could be doing better. Unfortunately, they didn't have any complaints about the quality of my work or my work ethic. I was always the first one in the office and the last one to leave from the team, to make it known that I was willing to put in the hard work and I would show up every day. But the one thing that really stuck with me is that they said, "You never sit with us," right? I'm always there, right? I'm physically present, I'm around, and, you know, I pop in every now and then, but very rarely would I go into the office. I would just sit at my cube, get my work done, but I never really sat with the team. And there's so much that I was missing out on, just like being in the same room, not even having to necessarily chat their ear off the whole entire day, but even just learning through osmosis, hearing the phone calls that they're on, talking to clients, like how they interact with people. I missed out on all of that for 5 weeks because I was too scared. And that's basically the reality of it. I had a million excuses, right? I wanted to be polite. I don't like inviting myself in. I didn't want to eat at somebody else's desk because somebody might have food allergies, right? All of these different reasons and just excuses at the end of the day, but it all boiled down to the fact that I was scared to ask to sit in the office. I really took that feedback to heart, and from that day on, I asked every single day that I came in to sit in the office. And I share that story because it was a pivotal shift in my understanding of risk, reward, opportunities, and how to view them in general. I literally wrote about this in my journal for probably 5 pages once I realized this. The simple question of asking, "Hey, can I sit in the office?" every single day had nearly zero downside, because the worst that could happen is, you know, I sit in the office for maybe 20 minutes before everybody comes in, find out, hey, I'm actually at somebody's desk who is in today. I get kicked out to the cube, and that's where I was anyways for the first 5 weeks. Where on the other hand, if I asked, hey, could I sit in the office? And they say yes, I get to spend that whole day, 8 hours, you know, plus, sitting in there, hearing the conversation, getting to know my coworkers as people, and learning more than I could sitting in my own little island over there in my cube, right? And now it's great that I learned that lesson from one simple story, but I want you to apply that mentality of zero downside, unlimited upside to nearly anything that comes across your way. And I recognize that this mindset doesn't and can't apply to everything in life. Making a multi-million-dollar investment into a home that you're looking to flip or to sell in the future, right? That is a very, there is a downside to that. You can put a monetary value on that. But something as simple as betting on yourself, trying to start a new business or talk to a stranger, all of these things virtually have zero downside aside from rejection, which is going to be the biggest hurdle you face when evaluating these opportunities. Talking to a stranger or sending a cold email, the worst that can happen is that they say no, or they just don't answer you, you get ghosted, and guess what? life goes on essentially as if you never sent that email in the first place or never tried to talk to that person to begin with. It's just such a big wall, it seems, this fear of rejection, that it outweighs any material upside or imaginary upside that you can even glean from an opportunity that really has nearly zero downside. Now just think about the unlimited upside potential that you can add to your life by talking to that stranger, going and starting that business, or cold calling that person, just by taking these opportunities that have either low or nearly zero downside risk and all the upside potential. And just remember, the worst thing that can happen in these cases are rejection, you get ghosted, or you end up back where you started, which doesn't seem so bad in the first place considering that's where you're already at today. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.